Hi, welcome to my studio. I'm Sarah, and today I'm drawing a spread of fan art from the Ahsoka show on Disney+. This show got me hyped, and I have so many things I want to talk about. I'll be covering my thoughts on all of the episodes, so obviously there are going to be some major spoilers. Jumping right in, episodes 1 through 3 were more of an introduction and got things going, and there was quite a bit. I gotta say, I do love the live-action versions of these characters, but it's hard for me to connect them to their animated counterparts sometimes. Of course, each of them have changed as a character in 10 years, but still. I was so confused when Sabine first pulled out Ezra's lightsaber, since she modified it. The main thing that threw me off was the changed emitter. Also, are they completely discounting Ezra and Sabine as a thing? Like Ezra's sister zoned Sabine in the recording. Honestly, that just seems weird because Ezra did have a crush on Sabine in the first 2 seasons of Rebels. Later on, they matured, and it wasn't as obvious, but Ezra was very protective of her at some points, and he was awkward around her dad. No way that's just familial, even if it's not completely romantic anymore. Oh, when Sabine cut her hair, the parallel to Kanan cutting his. There are a lot of parallels, which are such cool callbacks. The fact that she was a Padawan does confuse me, and I was pretty sure she just didn't have the Force, at least not in a tangible way like Ezra and Ahsoka. That may have been the case before, but now I'll get to that later. Ahsoka's personality seems a little off to me, although as the show goes on, I feel like she changes back into the Ahsoka from animation, which I'll talk more about that later too. Of course, I'm still on about her Leku being too short, but I'm not that picky. They were a little longer in this show compared to Mandalorian though, which is interesting. The cameos in this show. There was Ryder Azadi, who I'm so happy his voice actor got to portray. There was Jai Kell, which I'm kind of confused as to why he isn't a redhead, but it's still really cool to see him nonetheless. And of course Jason. I was worried at first since he wasn't in the first couple of episodes. He's fine, although his hair seems kinda weird. Not that there's much to complain about since we saw him for all of 5 seconds at the end of Rebels. It does bug me that he doesn't have blue eyes though like Kanan. And Huyang! I'm so happy he has the same voice and that they brought him back. He's an amazing droid and his humor is so brutal. Also there's Kaz's dad, Senator Xiono. I don't like him. Resistance was definitely not one of my favorite shows, but it had its funny moments. And Purrgil in live action. They glow and they look so cool. In episode 4, a lot happened. Kinda. Sabine felt a lot more like Sabine with her haircut and her armors and her blasters and everything. It's really cool because we didn't get to see Beskar in action as armor against blasters and lightsabers in the animated shows. I think the Inquisitor dude must have been some kind of Night Sister conjuring since he turned into green dust. He stood absolutely no chance against Ahsoka. Speaking of the Night Sisters, I find it interesting but also really annoying they're in the show. I've never liked them. I was so mad when Sabine handed over the map orb. I knew she was going to for the plot, but I didn't think Sabine would really be that stupid to hand over the orb. I can't believe Tristan and Sabine's parents are dead. Baylan mentioned not having any family left, and something to do with Ahsoka not trusting her, and they didn't do anything else with that until one of the last episodes when Huyang explained more of it. It's so sad. The ending to this episode was such a cliffhanger. Like, did Ahsoka die? And Anakin was there? Episode 5 answered all of this. And Ahsoka did kinda die. She was on the edge of death, in between, quite literally, since she was in the world between worlds. The flashbacks were amazing. Live action Clone Wars Anakin, Rex, young Ahsoka, her Leku were right. I find it interesting they used her Tales of the Jedi design. I guess they redesigned her original outfit ahead of time since nobody really liked that one. Which also makes more sense for when Tales of the Jedi takes place. She did seem weirdly young in her Mandalore version, although the actress is actually 16, and Ahsoka is 17 there. A part of it was just, again, Leku. But I guess they fixed the continuity with live-action Leku lengths. It's still so cool to see, and you know what? I'm just insanely happy we get any of this, after waiting 6 years for a sequel to Rebels. I still cannot believe it's been that long. On another note, I'm sorry, but Ahsoka looks really weird without her headpiece. We've never seen that, except with baby Ahsoka, I guess. At the end of this episode was when Ahsoka started to feel a little more like herself again. Ahsoka the White, as some people are dubbing this outfit, like Gandalf. I've seen people talking about how she's had this weight since finding out Anakin was Vader in Rebels, that legacy of death, and that's why she's been so different in Mandalorian and this. But now that she's talked with Anakin and confronted that, she's herself again, choosing to live. I thought it was just the Purrgil at first, but I guess galaxy jumping hyperspace is super fancy with all the colors. Man, episodes 6 and 7, we got to see Ezra way more than I thought we would, and Huyang said the line, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and he was able to say that since they weren't in their galaxy anymore. Okay, Thrawn. I am so happy he has the same voice actor. His voice is so unique, and Mikkelsen nailed his off-putting, calm mannerisms. My only minor gripe is the skin color, but this color is more in line with the books compared to the teal of Rebels. But that is such a minor detail, I don't really care. His character is so on point. Also, was Thrawn actually surprised that Anakin was Ahsoka's master? Like, for a split second, that gave him a disadvantage. Thrawn at a disadvantage. And in the finale, he actually lost his composure. The acting was amazing in that moment, especially the eye twitch. When Ahsoka and Huyang made it to Peridea and the hyperspace rings started shooting at them, I didn't like that the Purrgil were being hurt, but I found it funny how they were like, nope, we're out of here. Okay, Ezra. Iman Espondi got Ezra's accent and personality and mannerisms pretty much on point. I'm really happy with his live-action portrayal. Although the beard is a little weird, especially to draw. And his hair isn't blue, although it was getting less blue as Rebels went on, so I expected it to be black in live action. Oh, and his scar. The other odd thing was his outfit, which fits his circumstances, but not Ezra. It kind of makes me think of someone from The Chosen. The reunion hug was good, but a little underwhelming since I personally ship Sabine and Ezra. They could have at least run to each other, not whatever awkward, slow walk into the hug. But I loved Ezra's smile and the way Sabine's expression changed when she saw him, and I'm pretty happy with how I captured that in my drawing. The little rock people are so funny and adorable, throwing their pots at stormtroopers. They remind me of the little farmers from Clone Wars. It is so like Ezra to make them little rebels. I guess Ezra did give Sabine his lightsaber, but I had really wanted him to use it. His use of the Force is incredible though. Finally someone who actually uses the Force. The fact that he blocked Shin's lightsaber with the Force alone, and the way the blade reacted to that was really cool. We've seen a couple of people block a lightsaber with their own lightsaber and then support that with the Force, but never block it with only the Force. Finally, Episode 8, the finale. Wow. Ezra built a new lightsaber, and it's blue again, probably to match Kanan's more, which Huyang giving Ezra the duplicate emitter was so amazing, so sweet. I was a bit surprised it wasn't green again, at least symbolism-wise. Also, what technique was he going to ask Sabine if she knew? Now I want to know. The way Ezra told Sabine I missed you later in the episode. Like, Night Sister stuff. Yeah, I'm not even gonna talk about that. I cannot believe Morgan sliced one of Ahsoka's lightsabers in half though. My jaw literally dropped. Sabine kept leaving her helmet behind places and it bugged me so bad. And Sabine used the Force. Honestly, it kind of surprised me that her character was able to do that. I wonder if that means anyone can become attuned to the Force if they train enough. And the Force jump, how many times have Ezra and Kanan done that? The way he barely made it. And Ezra doing his Stormtrooper voice impersonation and dressing up as one. Chopper knew immediately, and the way Hera's face changed when she saw him, I just wish we'd gotten to see him meet Jason. Oh, and the Mortis statues, the father and son, but the daughter is demolished. Morai was there. I have to wonder if it's actually Mortis. Obi-Wan speculated they weren't even in their own galaxy anymore, so it's a possibility. I find it odd that it would be the same planet as with the Night Sisters, though. I didn't exactly expect Sabine and Ahsoka to be left behind. At least not like that. Ezra's home, finally, but without Sabine. I do think it's neat how Sabine could almost see Anakin's Force ghost. On another note, obviously this is coming out much later than I expected. This spread took way longer than I anticipated, but I really like how it turned out. I've been too inconsistent trying to post every other Thursday, and I don't want to make promises I can't keep. So basically I'll be posting whenever I have time, which hopefully will be roughly every other week, but we'll see. Besides that, thank you so much for watching. What did you think of Ahsoka? May the Force be with you.